It's been a long month, right? I think these last 4 months have been incredibly long. I'm tired. Are you tired? Just a little bit? And now I want to talk to you about something that I've been trying to find the words. I've been wanting to share with you all my thoughts around what's happened to Black people in this country and addressing it all and finding myself at a loss what to say, other than, of course, Black Lives Matter, defund the police, and all the things, right? I mean, yes, all of that. And what I've come to tonight for you all is an invitation to you. Those of you who are clients especially. All right, so the title, I think it's a little self-explanatory. Moving out of your comfort zone. So those of you who found me or found someone in your area, I'm sure you went to a website, you looked up your city, you looked up Memphis, Las Vegas, New York City, Tampa, whatever. You looked them up and you looked at the long list. Maybe there was a short list. Maybe there's only 1 or 2 practitioners, right? But maybe there was 5, or maybe there was 10. Like New York City has a ton of practitioners. And you went and you chose the person that you felt most drawn to. Happens. It's unconscious. We don't know why. We just, this person seems nice. You click, maybe you read their description, and then you just submit a request for a session. And then you just move forward with it. So my invitation for you to all tonight is to think about, what is it about that process that was truly unconscious? And to ask yourself why you chose who you chose. Many of us choose people because it feels safe. It feels safe if we find someone that looks like us, right? Or something that we recognize, that we're familiar with. Or maybe we choose somebody because of how attractive they are, because we think, if I go with someone who's attractive, it'll make me feel wanted and that I belong somehow in the world. If they want to be with me, of course, right? It was a mutual agreement to meet. Maybe we choose people. I mean, there's a million reasons why we choose who we choose. And I want you to know I don't have any notes for this. Sometimes I usually have notes for my videos, but not today. I probably could come up with a long list of reasons why people choose who they choose. And it's often unconscious. And that's what's really hard. Because my invitation to you all, look, I have a cat's tail, is to choose somebody different. I wonder what that's like. For you to be conscious that I chose this person because they seem safe to me, because they look like me, because I'm drawn to them, maybe even sexually, right? There's a sexual attraction. And that makes me feel good as a human, as a man, as a woman, as a person. All of those things. So we have dozens of practitioners out in this country that often don't get chosen. And it can be for many reasons. And so I'm going to name a few. And there's probably a million reasons why people don't get chosen. But what I would like for you to consider, if you feel comfortable, right? Of course, in all of our work, we want you to do what feels comfortable, feels right to you, is to constantly choose something completely different. So let's say you look at the list of people and somebody looks a lot older, maybe older than you, or maybe they're in their 50s, 60s, 70s. There's a practitioner out there. You're like, oh gosh, I'd never choose someone like that. I want to choose somebody in their 20s because maybe I want to feel younger. I invite you to be conscious around that decision and maybe choose somebody who's older and have a new experience. What could show up? Maybe it'll surprise you. Or how about someone of a completely different gender than you're used to? Maybe you see that their pronouns are they, them, and you're like, I don't even know what that means. That's, I don't even know. I look at them and I'm not even sure who they are. Can't put them in a little box. Maybe it's the time to choose somebody who's outside of your construct, outside of your binary world, and see what happens, and see what that's like. I'm getting to a bigger issue that's coming. Before that one, how about somebody who's not conventionally beautiful? I would be very scared to ask my clients the truth around, why did you choose me and not another practitioner here in town? Is it because of what I look like? There's something called pretty privilege. I have that, right? It helps people feel good about themselves when they cuddle with a beautiful woman. I get it. You can't change that. They feel wanted. They feel more, maybe if this is a man, they feel more of a man. They feel the thrill, there's an excitement. Maybe even it feels like prohibited, like naughty in some way. But what if you chose somebody who didn't have pretty privilege, who would never be on the cover of a magazine? Is that too provocative? And lastly, and this is kind of where I wanted to go to begin with, we have Black practitioners who often never get chosen. They go through the training, they really want to do this work, and they're part of a list of other types of practitioners, right? Probably white, for sure white, and they don't get requests. And if they do get a request, it's sometimes, what's the word? Oh my goodness, I just lost it. They're like sexualized. It's not okay. And it's very complicated. I get it. And my invitation to you is to can just check in around when you choose somebody, not acknowledging your unconscious bias around those choices, and seeing if you'd be willing to take a risk of having a session with somebody that you would normally not choose. I can't say that telling them the reason would be the best idea. I don't know about that one. I just call them and say, hey, so I want to have a session with you because you're, retired and you're older, or because you're not good looking, or maybe not, don't say those things. I don't know. That one's debatable because I love honesty. I mean, I think it would be quite interesting to see how that practitioner would respond to that. But I think it's interesting to be honest about maybe the race thing. For a practitioner to call, let's say a white client, to call a Black practitioner and say, I need to be honest with you. I would never have chosen to have a session with you. And because this is the unknown for me, I'm uncomfortable, or I've only sexualized Black people, or fetishized, that's the word. I've only fetishized, and I want to move beyond my fear or how I've put an entire race of people in a box and limited them, or I fear you. We've had Black male practitioners before, and honestly I think that's a super brave place to be a Black male in this industry, especially if potentially you may see white women, the risk of being accused of all sorts of things. I hate to put that on that, but that's a thing, right? That's risky. And yet I want to dream of a world where there can be healing through touch. Like we could heal these divides, the racist stuff, that a white client could come see a Black practitioner and say, I don't know anything about people like you, right? Does that sound bad? Probably that sounds bad. I'm just imagining what a white person would say. I would normally not choose to have a session with a Black person because I'm incredibly uncomfortable. I'm afraid of messing up. I'm afraid of offending you. I'm afraid of asking for the wrong thing. I'm afraid of, is it okay can I ask if I can touch your hair? Like even that, like, will you reject me as a person, as a white person, if I fumble and I mess this up? you know, and they may say, no, do not touch my hair. That's a hard boundary. And no, let's have a session together and see if we can listen to one another. I wish I could say that like cuddling could fix everything in the world. Cuddling could erase, you know, our fears of each other, of this melanin that really holds no meaning. It doesn't mean anything if I have more or less of melanin. And I think that there's an opportunity here. So if you are a white client, I invite you to consider first your unconscious bias. When you choose a practitioner, who you're choosing, why. Just notice. I'm not asking you to to move out of that, but just noticing what's coming up for you. And then maybe thinking, what happens? Let's do an experiment. If I choose somebody who I normally wouldn't want to be with or normally wouldn't see. And the next step would be, if you're comfortable, and I'm hoping all the practitioners out there that are maybe watching this, that you could be professional enough to be a conduit of unconditional acceptance and maybe love, understanding for the vulnerability that it would take for someone to move out of their comfort zone and see someone so different than them. I will be honest, I have had white supremacists come and see me. And the only reason I knew they were was because I could see their social media. And so it's like so funny to me because they never acknowledge that I'm not white, not that kind of white. You know, coming in with the MAGA hat, and you know, for me to give them my unconditional acceptance and love in the session, and I'm open and ready, waiting to have the opportunity to talk to them about their fears that really are what lie behind the nationalism and their white supremacy. Maybe cuddling can be a space where you can process and work on some of these things. I invite you to. Again, it's not going to fix the world, but it's a beginning for some people. And what I especially love about it, those of you who know me, you know this about me, that if you're a BIPOC, which is Black, Indigenous, person of color, that includes the brown people, you're getting paid for it. Yes. I can get paid for supporting someone in their stepping out of their comfort zone. And that feels really good to me. That maybe this is the first time I've ever touched a brown person. And that's so cool. And we can talk about it. What does it mean? So, I'd love to hear your comments. This is an edgy topic right now. And I really wanted to take my time to share. I know it's a little bit longer than some other videos. I'm hopeful around this work that we can make a difference. And my dream is that we would be at the front of bringing healing between the races, between again all our demographics, right? Gender, age, beauty, attraction, all of it, and race especially. So, if you want to come see a brown lady, I'm Mexican American. I was born in Mexico. I'm an immigrant, even though I became a citizen when I was 19 years old. I am bilingual. You can come see me if you'd like to talk more about that experience, of my experience being in this country. And of course, any practitioner you're with has a past, has a story, has a heritage that you can engage and ask about too. Love you all.